Hi everyone. In this video, I will explain how to create a VBA code that can generate a range of numbers. You can define the starting point, the ending point, and also the step. This is an example here. So if I click on generate, you can see the code is generating a range of numbers starting from 0 and at 10 with step to 1. For example, here if I change the step from 1 to 2 and keep the end to 10 and starting from 0 and then click on generate, you will see that the code generate the numbers based on the input in this table here that I showing here on the top side, the top right side of the screen. So let me show you. So this is the first code and this is the second code, which actually clear all the contents in the column A. If I click on it, you will see that there is the data are erased in column A. If I re-click again on generate, it's gonna generate the numbers again based on the input value that I defined here. Okay, so let's see together how we can create this code. I am using Notepad software here. I just like this software. I always use it because I can control the color of the background and I can also control the language that I'm using here. Of course, I'm using Visual Basic for application. So first I will explain the first macro here that I created, which is I call it generate. So this is the first sub. I call it count here, which is generate the numbers from uh, some number to some numbers with specific steps. So here, as you can see, I'm starting the sub with clearing all the contents in basically in all the rows in column A. I just defined A starting from row number 1 and ending at 10,000. You can change this if you want. I just put 10,000 row in column A. So the first step of the macro code is going to clear all the contents within this range. Then here I'm defining J, I, A, B, C as a double. It's very important here to define it as a double because if you define it as integer and then you defined the step here as a decimal, the code will not work if you define I and J as an integer. So be very careful about this. Here it's working because I used double, define J and A as a double. So it can accept decimals numbers. Okay, so J basically is starting from 0 and then J equal to J plus 1. So this is represent the number of rows. So as you can see here, I put the offset of the range in A1 as a J. Okay, so this is it's gonna define the first number in the first row. Then it's gonna add 1, which is the offset, which is gonna go to the next row and put the number there. So this is basically the row number. It's gonna always add 1, and let's see later when I change this what's gonna happen. Okay, and then them as double, the I range here is actually is for A, for I equal A to B step C. So this is basically the input that I defined here. Let me show both in one screen. So yeah, we can do that. So basically A, B, and C, as you can see here, I defined A in variable or variable this variable A as L1, which is column L, row number 1, and B is L2, and then C is the L3. So A represents starting from. Here, as you can see, I start from 0. B, it's the end or 2, and then C, it's the step. Okay, so this is for I equal A, which is the starting point, to B, which is the end point, and then step C, it's the steps or the how many or yes, the steps. How can we go from start pointing A to B with steps. Okay, so then I define here A1 column A row number 1 range is going to offset by the value of J, which is going to increase 1 each time, and then this is going to start with I, which is here, defined here. So what I'm saying here actually is A1 is going to have value of I. I is going to start from A to B with step C. Does that make sense? So I hope it does. So it's just basically straightforward. I'm just defining A1 to start with A, but it's gonna be always offset of J. Okay. And then I say here J equal J plus 1, and then next I. So it's gonna go to the next I here and add the next step, and then it's gonna put it with the offset of J. This is for the first sub. The second sub is basically clear all the contents in column A until row number 10,000. You can change this number. So let's see together how this works. Let's say here I put 5 with step 1, generate. You see that the old data is erased and generate new data based on this input. If I put 3 with step 1, see, changing. If I put here 20 with step 10, so the code is working and it's doing exactly as I wanted. Let's put the decimal. So here you can see the decimal. If I change this to, if I change the previous code to integer instead of double, it's not gonna work because I'm using here decimal. You can try it by yourself. Now uh, let's change this number here. So now I'm using the actual VBA window. Let's change this to 2 instead of 1. So as I said, J is the number of the row. Let's see. So I change it to 2. Let's go to keep it as it is, generate. So you can see now I am skipping one row because I said here J equal to J plus 2. So it's going to start from 0, which is row number 1. Then it's going to count 1, 2, which is 2 row, and skip this row, and it's going to add the value in row number 3. So 0, 1, 2. So 0, 1, 2. So it's going to add it here, and then it's going to do the same thing. If I put 3 here, so it's going to skip 3 rows, 2 rows, etc., and write the value at the third row. Okay, so let's put it back as it is, J plus 1, generate. You can put this 10, this 1, generate. Okay, so yeah, and you can actually define the value immediately here. You can say just for I equal to 0 to B, which is whatever you want, like 10 or whatever, and then step is a step here in this case, whatever step you want. Let's use this. You can comment all of these. Okay, and then here you can put directly the numbers that you want. B10, B10, and then C, it's going to be 1. So let's clear all the value. Now it's clear. I deleted all the numbers, then generate. Let's delete all of this too. You see? So now the code is taking the value directly from the code that I defined it here. Or you can leave it as it was before, uh, from int step and then 0, 10.5, and then you can come here and uncomment all of these. You can just put A, B, C. So I'm connecting the value of A, B, C to column L, row 1, column L, row 2, column L, L3. Let's run this. So now you see, based on these inputs, the number are generated, but now it's connected to L1, L2, L3. Okay, so it's just basic coding, but sometimes it's very useful. Instead of typing or doing this manually or using function in built-in function in Excel, you can just generate this code and use it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you get some value from video. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thanks. Bye.